Be ready. 15 seconds. I strayed into politics by an accident, but I have been a lifelong student of politics, and I have always believed that politics is a purposeful instrument of social, political, and economic change. Politics which departs from that path and becomes a servant of narrow, parochial, silly things loses its wider societal role. We are today debating a great national tragedy, a great human tragedy. This is not an issue which should divide this house. This is not an issue where partisan politics should have an upper hand in analyzing those traumatic events of 1984, the death of a prime minister, a revered and beloved leader of our country in her own courtyards by two bodyguards, and this whole mass tragedy that befell Delhi and other cities. Our collective effort has to be to find pathways where we ensure that such tragedies, whether in Delhi or Gujarat, never again take place in our country. Therefore, I am not standing before this house to score any partisan points. What happened in 1984 was a grim national tragedy and it brought us all to shame. Both the assassination of Srimati Indira Gandhi and subsequent events leading to anti Sikh riots and all those ghastly happenings should have never happened. They are blots on our national conscience. On this, there is no difference of opinion on any side. But the question arises, where do we go from here? 21 years have passed. More than one political party has been in power, and yet the feeling persists that somehow the truth has not come out and justice has not prevailed. Therefore, it is our collective responsibility to find ways and means where we could accelerate the processes which would give out people a feeling that they do appreciate justice in this massive state of India. I wish the debate had taken that tone. But the debate has been on narrow partisan lines, and I respectfully say to the House that does not serve its purpose. The Sikhs are a very proud community. They have a glorious past. Our gurus have bequeathed to us a living philosophy which is more relevant today than it ever was. That the Sikhs have made a phenomenal contribution to our freedom struggle is also known. Anybody who goes to Port Blair would find how many people who were sent to the gallows. Came the partition, the Sikh community suffered the most. The canal colonies of erstwhile Punjab, which were blooming with property, were the creations of the Sikh peasants. They were all lost to the Sikh community. Many of them migrated to this part of the Punjab. Lakhs and lakhs of people became homeless. I have seen people seeing their daughters, their children being killed before their very eyes in those ghastly days of the partition. That trauma still haunts me. It is a credit to the Sikh community that did not allow that tragedy to depress them. Then came the independence of India, and there arose a new Punjab on the ashes of old. When the history of that period is written, the making of the new Punjab, the role of two individuals will shine in the annals of history. That was Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon. What Punjab is today is largely the creation of these two great men of our country. I do not want to score debating points against my friends in the Akali Dal, and I say to them with all respect, while they were all agitating to divide Punjab, the Punjab government inspired by Jawaharlal Nehru and with people like Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon at their help wrote a glorious chapter in the history of Punjab. The Green Revolution is the creation of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, late Srimati Indira Gandhi, and Sardar Pratap Singh Kairon in Punjab. If we are trying to drive a gap between the Sikh community and the Congress party, we must never forget that fact. Then came the events of 1980s. Who is to be blamed and who is not to be blamed? I am not here to apportion blames. But for a time it appeared the Punjab had fallen on evil day. We saw that period when serious attempts were made to divert the attention of this brave community which has contributed so much to the development of our country, which even to this day defends many of our national frontiers that are on the borders. People, many of them outside our country, tried to drive a wedge between the Sikh community and the mainstream of national life. The terrorist elements, aided and abetted by forces from abroad, sought to disrupt our unity, our polity, our society, and whatever we say or do in this house or outside, I think it would be a sin against our nationhood if we try to sow the seeds of discontent among the youths of Punjab. Punjab is border state of our union. The Sikhs have been its valiant protectors through centuries here. Sir, the four specific things where I would like to draw the attention of the minister are: it has been provided in this bill that private limited companies who accept fixed deposits will be deemed to be public companies. Now I see an amendment has come that this will not apply to companies getting deposits from relatives. But I venture to say that there are small family companies which can raise deposits from their own friends and associates. Why should they become public companies? They are not getting money from the public in the wider sense. If they are getting loans, they are small loans from commercial banks against securities. But bringing or by roping in all these companies, really what we are doing is that we are not applying the law to these companies but allowing law to become ineffective in the case of big companies, and this is precisely what is happening. For instance, in Mumbai or Calcutta, there are big corporations, companies which deserves to be closely monitored whether they are following the Companies Act or not.